Well, speaking of Vince McMahon, our next question sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Denny in Birmingham, England. I noticed your last comments on Vince McMahon's appearance on Survivor Series, but neither you or Brian mentioned the blatant plastic surgery Vince has had. He looked weird because he didn't look natural. My question is, Jim, do you know, other than Buff Bagwell's ridiculous calf implants, do you know of any of the boys that took plastic surgery or cosmetic alteration to make them look better? By the way, Vince McMahon was clearly plastic surgeryed up. Not makeup boy, what does this say? Not makeup boy hundreds of thousands of dollars on plastic surgery, but I'm surprised you guys didn't mention it.
Well, I mean, I'm not an expert, so I was impressed. It made an impression on me of how much makeup he was wearing, and that he seems to have lost a little oomph in his face, and he looks more like his dad did, even though it's taken him, 20 years longer to get there, and just wasn't a commanding presence like he used to be. What would he have had plastic surgery on? Maybe his eyes, but I mean, it's not, he still has wrinkles. So it doesn't look like that cat woman that, try to get transformed into a cat or whatever. What do you think he's had worked on?
I don't know. There's clearly a lot going on with his face right now.
Well, I mean, because I hadn't seen him in years, and then I saw him. I don't know, people age. He's 75 or whatever. I don't know what he has had or would have had worked on.
He really looks like, it's funny this happened, he really looks like that puppet on Firefly Funhouse. He's literally turned into that. That's what he looks like now.
I don't remember anybody else. Maybe it's because in wrestling, nobody ever stayed in the public eye this long. Can you think of another big star, major? Because I consider
Chris
Vince
Jericho.
A star in wrestling. Well, God damn it.
Jericho.
No.
He's got Botox forehead.
But you don't know where I was going.
Oh.
With that, we've seen a bunch of people become the past their prime expiration date canned hams of the world, as poor Chris is now. But I'm talking about, has any major wrestling star ever still been on television and, involved in some way when they were actually as 75 and had changed so much and had transformed? That's what I'm trying to think of. Vince has had more longevity than just about anybody.
Well, there have been guys.
I mean, Lawler's only 5 years younger than Vince is, but Lawler's Lawler. I mean, well, I'm sure he's.
I was going to say Lawler,
he's had some things worked on, but fuck, he doesn't have anything bionic. Lawler still can have a fucking match and throw a drop kick. I think he'll look better at 75 than Vince does now, even though Vince had the physique advantage all those years. Maybe that's the reason why Lawler looks better now.
And I think Lawler had a good doctor, because it appears that Lawler and Ric Flair both had face work done, but Lawler just looks like another version of Lawler. Flair, it did radically change the way he looked, I thought.
I just, what did he have done? 'Cause I don't know these things.
His face.
Well, I mean, what part of he still got a
facelift?
He would. If you would have told people 30 years ago he was going to have anything done, Arn would have said, well, get that fucking nose shaved down. He used to call Flair Beak. Hey, Beak.
Did he have a nickname for everyone?
He had a nickname for everybody. Nikita was Cue Ball, and then when we started wearing the nice, expensive suits, he became GQ Ball. And
Tully was Wombat.
Wombat. Or Eddie Munster, depending on the fucking... and Bobby was Butte. But anyway, nevertheless, I don't know. But all I'm saying is Lawler has somehow managed physically to defy time to that level, and even died. Still didn't fucking hurt him. But Vince he had that commanding presence, whether on television or in person, when he walked in the room and he had the voice and he stood up straight and you knew it. And he was always had this serious gravitas to him. And now it's a shocking change, and I feel bad for him.
He kind of looks like Mr. Peanut now.
What the monocle and a top hat?
He's like, looks like shriveled up. He's like a shriveled up old Vince McMahon.
Come on. He can still kick the shit out of any other 75-year-old man except for Vern Gagne.
I'm off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of 75-year-olds who I would put up against Vince. I don't know.
It's tough. Well, wait a minute.
I'll put Sylvester Stallone against Vince.
Hold
I'll take
on.
Stallone.
I'm just thinking Dundee, I think, is 75 now. Bill Dundee, if he hit Vince with one of his working punches, he'd go down still to this day.
I would take Dundee over Vince in a fight right now.
Yeah. You would, because...
Here's a big question for you. Bill Watts has cracked 80. Do you think Watts...
That's right.
Do you think he could still throw a punch?
I'm pretty sure he could. I'm pretty sure. Well, a working punch or a real punch?
A punch.
Or both.
Was there a difference? A real punch.
Well,
a real punch.
I was going to say, at least he would try not to hurt you. The result would be similar, but he'd try with a working punch not to. Actually, you know what? Drop kick. It was a rib. I can't remember who he was working with when he did this, but he told Bobby and Dennis the story before the last Stampede matches, so they knew what was up when he called it. But apparently he had been working with a guy, and as he shot the guy off, it was a main event, and it was somebody that he was fucking, on the same level as Watts, wasn't just telling the boss what to do or whatever. He's shooting the guy off, and the guy said, "Hit me with a drop kick." And so when the guy came back, Watts just drew back and punched him right in the fucking face. He said, "That's my drop kick, motherfucker." So he started it when he's making his comeback after Dog would give him the iceberg tag, because Dog at that point was fucking coked out and was not present mentally in some of those matches. But Watson started making his comeback, boom, 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 and he'd shoot Bobby or Dennis, either one off, and he'd say, "Drop kick," and they'd, "Oh, shit," and they'd come back and he'd punch him right in the fucking face. And then he had this spot he wanted to do for Dennis to get his color, right, where he would punch Dennis, and Dennis take a bump and turn over on his hands and knees, and Watts would come and throw a football kick to Dennis's forehead. And he was like, oh, he was going to come right over the edge of the forehead, right? He said, "You'll never feel it." First time he did it, bam! Dennis said he saw so many stars he couldn't find his fucking blade. And so every night for the first 3 or 4 nights, he'd get his juice that way, because he got juice on Bobby and Dennis in each match of what do we have, 15, double juice on both of them in each one of the matches. But the people had to get what they paid for. Anyway, by the 3rd or 4th match, no, God, it was deeper into it than that. But still, with like 6 or 7 of them left, Watts tore his hamstring. And that's what we went in the Superdome, the tape from the Superdome that still exists of that match. Watts has his thigh taped from the knee to his fucking crotch, because he had tore his fucking thigh muscle, his quad or whatever. And so Dennis said, "God damn it." He said he was kicking me in the head so hard it tore his fucking muscle. So then Dennis had to get on his hands and knees even lower for Watts to kick him, because he couldn't get his foot up off the ground. But anyway, drop kick.
Do you think anyone has the guts to say to Vince, "Vince, you look ridiculous, that you got to do something else if you're going to be on camera"?
No, well, he doesn't look ridiculous. He's not wearing the New Day's, entrance costume.
Did you see his eyebrows?
I saw the eyebrows were ridiculous. He looks like an old man, and the one guy that everybody that knew him thought would never age, and the one guy that they've seen with all that vim and vigor on television, even if you've never met him or seen him in person, I think it's just, at this point, it may be to have him stand in the ring and do the same type of delivery, or to deliver the message the same kind of way. It might be it's a bummer now. Maybe he should be in a boardroom setting with the table and the chair or whatever. I mean, make use of, he's the most famous wrestling personality they still have in the company. Make use of him, but don't have him doing the same kind of shit he used to do, because then you're comparing it to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And anybody's going to lose something.
Well, perhaps Vince is a little upset because he's not a young man anymore, and it really has to get to him that he's not as strong as he once was. He's not as youthful as he once was, probably doesn't have the energy he once did, and he has to reconcile with that. He has to sit down and think about that every time he does something on camera. If only there was a place he can call. If only there was someone he could speak to about whatever issues he's going through right now.
You know, actually, I thought you were going, I was like, wait a minute, did we accept the daggum dick pills around here? But no, you're talking more mental, a way to mentally come to grips with his current situation. Folks, if you need somebody to talk to, a licensed and professional therapist, not just some shade tree therapist, but somebody to talk to, whether it's not available in your area, your locale, whether you don't want to go out and sit in waiting rooms and be in public in the middle of a pandemic, whether you prefer to maintain your anonymity, your anonymousness, your anonymity, that's it, right? Whether you prefer to remain anonymous or even under the cover of darkness, folks, no matter what, our friends at BetterHelp can help you. You can start communicating in under 48 hours with a licensed professional therapist. It's professional counseling done securely online, and there's a broad range of expertise available. Services available worldwide because it's by internet, video, phone sessions, all done online if necessary. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed to make sure you find the right fit. Folks, you can go to their website and read the testimonials that people post every day on how BetterHelp has made a difference for them. We've read some of the emails from folks that have written in from the cult of Cornette that have used the service. If you go to BetterHelp, that's HELP, betterhelp.com/drive, you can join the over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional and get 10% off your first month's services. BetterHelp.com/drive, 10% off the first month. You can't beat that. And you don't have to leave the house. We're searching for these ways that you can stay healthy and alone and anonymous.